Yikes, it's happened. We've ascended into our new reality. And if you're watching this video, then guess what? You are there and you are also in this beautiful journey. So, what does that mean? We have been talking about this for years on my channel, and I've been listening and learning and uncovering and suffering and going through it just like you. So, today I want to kind of share some of my thoughts about this beautiful process we're in, and also give you the heads up that, the suffering should be over by now, and you should be kind of waking up and going, where am I? And those friends who have totally disappeared, they used to be across the street. Now the street doesn't even exist. They're somewhere in another, well, we'll call it dimension. And you might be kind of kicking and screaming about that, but I'm here to share with you the only thing out of your mouth should be, thank you, universe. Let's find out what that means. It's coming up on today's podcast and video. Can't wait to talk. Let's do it. Hey, thanks for staying clicked in. Excuse the casual attire in the middle of getting ready to go out on July 4th here when I'm recording this. And I'm realizing as I'm walking around my house, my office, my group, my friends, my thoughts, my feelings, my health, everything has changed. Absolutely everything in my life right now feels anew. Is that you? So just take a second. I'm assuming if you're watching this video, the word ascension and, or even just finding this video, it is not by coincidence. This is the new place that we are coming into. We keep talking about it. So let's go back. First off, ascension. If you're not sure what that is, my sense is if you're on my channel, you know what it is. But for those coming in late to the party, let's go back a little bit. We've been talking about the age of Aquarius and waiting for this time when we will transform our energy and come out and integrate into this new experience. And well, they started to talk about this with the world ending with the Mayan calendar, right? 12/12, sound familiar? And yet the world didn't end, and or did it? Did we wake up and all of a sudden find ourselves in a new reality? And the idea that, well, this is where I get a little worried about saying this out loud, the large exodus of people that happened during COVID and, actually was part of a lot of that, those souls coming in and leaving. That was their agreement. And here we are waking up, right? So we heard on so many energy updates over the last, I don't know, 4 or 5 years with COVID and the rest of it, that it was going to get, and it was incredibly uncomfortable, and that we were going to suffer through it, but yet emerge into this new reality. And I truly do feel in my own experience that we're there, and I'm going through it. So I'm assuming if you're watching this, that you are too. And I kind of want to just have a deeper dive and a discussion. It doesn't necessarily mean, although it can, that people have literally died and left this experience. It can also show up in the energy of a new vibration. And so you're not even going to recognize it. And let me give you a metaphor that might make sense. If you're feeling lack and you're depressed and you're sad and you're, walking down into your community, into your, well, for me, it would be our church street, okay, back in Vermont. If you're walking into the center of town and you're feeling that heaviness and that burdensome and the world is a terrible place, my sense is you're probably going to notice the trash that is in your in your streets. You're probably going to look over and see the homeless camp that sits there and notice the addiction on the end of the corner because, again, the world is just such a terrible place. And I'm giving you your reality. And does that reality exist out there? Please don't assume that I'm saying it doesn't. But yet our attention sees it because we're in that frequency of seeing we'll call it that lower vibration. And I am not saying, the compassionate heart, we wouldn't see that if, no, I'm not saying that. We're still always going to see the opposition and the polarity to what we're wanting in our life. So, in this metaphor, or are you in a great place and it's a beautiful day and the flowers are out? And in the same metaphor, you're hearing music and you're seeing community and you're seeing children running around and laughing and the birds and you're seeing, we're both walking down the same street, by the way, but we're having two totally different experiences. So when we talk about ascension and we talk about ascending and we're talking about this new world and this new reality, it really is the definition of giving yourself the focus of a higher vibration and not seeing those things that pull you and make you suffer and struggle down at a lower frequency, because we know what we know, right? When we're at a higher frequency, more higher frequency aspects come in. So that is truly what is taking place when we're talking about ascension. And one of my beautiful teachers, Linda Lang, thank you, she said in an interview with me years ago, I said something about the fifth dimension, and she says, "No, slow down, Jean. Don't forget, in order to get to the fifth, here we are in the third, we got to go through the fourth, our heart, to get there." So I really do believe that where we are right now is feeling it, but it's feeling lighter. It's the heart. It is feeling the love. It is feeling the kindness. It is seeing the gratitude. It is appreciating the people around us. And yet, it also is the clearing and the decluttering and the getting rid of those things that feel heavy that no longer line up with us. And as I said in the header and in the hook in this video, and so certainly in the description, the only thing we should be saying is thank you. So that's what I want to talk about today. And I want to share some things that have been happening in my life to tell you how kind of this has all come to be for you today. Are you ready? I thought it would be fun to share right here some of the comments I received on my social media post when I asked this very question. Carolyn Nicholson Fowler says, "Ascension, Jeannie? Really? The word just seems too small to describe what's happening in the world right now." She was reminded of like expansion and illumination and dimension hopping, the shift. Maybe these are better words to describe what's taking place, but agrees there is no word to describe it. The energy she feels are very dense right now, but are being shattered by portals of light. She reminds us to gather in light and love for each other to open these portals. The light is taking care of business, she says. She says it's important to clear her field throughout the day, to cut cords and shield herself multiple times. We must keep our center, she reminds us. She believes that we're at a tipping point and the light will win, but we are up to our necks right now. The tide is turning. She believes that light will and has won. It always will. Thank you, Carolyn. My tribe member, Lisa Hayes, commented that she's feeling a drastic shift and even an acceleration in the world and in her life right now. She's noticing so many more synchronicities and connections to others who are also exploring and searching for a deeper meaning through spiritual daily practices such as yoga, meditation, Reiki, spiritual learning, and so on. She sees and reminds us that technology is such a contributing factor, forging connections globally. She reminds us that AI is fostering greater collaborations worldwide and reminds us technology is important at this time. So true. Thank you, Lisa. And lastly, I was on a coaching call with Kitty this morning, my human design specialist, and she challenged me. She thought I was resisting something, and she asked me straight up, "Hey, haven't you noticed that everything's different? So why are you fighting this?" And I quickly remembered this video in queue, and we both laughed out loud. So thank you, Kitty, for the subtle reminder. Let's get back to the video now. For those of you who've been following me for years, my health was a huge struggle. And even the people that I was being coached by and I was reaching out to for my own healing during that really uncomfortable time, they kept saying to me, Jeannie, this is all part of Ascension. Like the energies, it's like you're ahead of yourself that way. I always have been, and you're not integrating, and you need to integrate more. And so now I'm coming out the other side, and I'm recognizing that that is exactly what it is. We've seen the metaphor before about the butterfly who struggles, right? And if you don't know what that is, let me share that real quick. Um, the butterfly needs all that work to pump its little wings to get out and break free to have and be able to sustain its flight. And that's kind of a great metaphor for where we are and where we're coming out of. And the good news, everybody is reporting it's happening. So, the part I want to share too is since my health is feeling better, I have more energy, I'm feeling more creative, I mean, everything. But it's also caused some angst in the sense that I'm noticing and looking around in my own community. And I'm realizing that there's some huge differences. So it goes back to my spiritual group too. I met Pat and Joe. I'll tag them right here. I met them at a spiritual event. We became partners in a sense that I'm helping them create their YouTube channel and doing visuals for their content. And that opened up a whole new door to spiritual people coming into my life. And that spiritual door started cross pollinating. And then we realized, as part of the ascension, all these light workers were working and supposed to be working together. And all of a sudden, these different groups that we were all kind of maintaining and tending to, the silos started to come down. And drum circle and meditation circle and my circle and the education center and all these places that you could go in my own community, all of a sudden people were showing up at each other's events and we were cross pollinating and networking and experiencing no boundaries and all kind of coming together and being part of this one universal group, we're calling it. So that's another shift that happened. So when that took place, I put out a video for my spiritual group that has been in place for 8 to 10 years. And I said, here's what's happening this year. It's a big change. And right away, a good portion of that group said, not interested. No, no, not kind of where I want to spend my time. And they just broke off, which was fine. And then on the other side of that is a whole bunch of people that had stopped coming said, oh my gosh, are we going back to actually school and we're going to be able to learn and dig down and go deep? I want to come back. So that shift took place. And then 2 nights ago, I had a huge open house at my house, and there was more people walking through the door that I didn't know and less people that I did know in my own house. And I thought that was fascinating. And then I'll just give an example. One of my core group members walked in, and 4 people in my original group didn't even recognize this person. She was sitting right there. So, and again, I'm not singling anyone out. What I'm trying to say is this absolutely should be happening in your own experience, where someone might say, oh my God, I've been calling you and I just can't seem to get through. Or we used to see each other all the time at this one place and you're kind of missing in action. What's going on with you? And again, back to please don't resist this, fight this, reach out, say where you been, what's going on, stop avoiding me. That is not the energy I'm asking you for. I want you to just look up and trust that all the work you've done in the last, let's just call it 5 years, because I think it's felt the most uncomfortable in the last 5 years, especially with the whole COVID thing, being isolated and the rest of it. Can we just focus on the beautiful thank you that absolutely everything is in alignment with your intention for a higher vibration and you have made it through, you crossed the finish line, and now you get to integrate and create the life we are all intending, which is at a very is at a much higher vibration. And if you resist it in any way, you might be late to the party. You might break off and stay where you were, and you can stay there. You're going to have your own reality there. It's just not going to be at the highest frequency that is available to you today. And that doesn't mean that, well, we're just going to sit here for a while and then wait for the new wave to come and we don't have to do anything. And that's another thing I really want to make a point. All this takes action. It takes acknowledgement. It takes the continuation of learning. You can't just say, oh, I'm going to ride on the coattails of my teacher and my master and watch more of those videos. You have to do the work to maintain your frequency, right? So there's a reason they call it practices. You've got to practice at it. So I hope this has helped you. And I want to just share one more little side story that I'm immersed in feng shui right now. So what that means is I have redone my house and I have been focusing on getting rid of, and I'm telling you, there is not a box or a drawer that hasn't been opened, pulled out on the floor, and me looked at it and said, oh my God, how many pens do I have? How many pencils? And gotten that organized. And I've been doing this for like the last 3 to 6 months, just really focused on it. And one of my beautiful feng shui practitioners in our group said, congratulations, Jeannie. I see you're, decluttering and getting rid of stuff. But remember, it's not what you're willing to let go of, it's what you're getting ready to put back. Now, hear that for your own life. Here we are decluttering, cleaning, letting go, doing the work. And now this is where we are. What are we going to keep and put back in our life? So, in the same vein of that story, one of the things I had to pack up to do my renovation was my daughter's beautiful altar. I'll show you a picture. This is something that I just cherish. I put it together. Every little thing in this altar means something to me. So when I was packing it away, I said in group, I'm kind of thinking that maybe I won't unpack my altar. Maybe it's time just to leave it packed up in my sacred box and pull it out every now and then. And I was feeling all proud, like letting go and wearing a badge about it. And then back to feng shui. I listened to this beautiful podcast all about feng shui, and they were talking about how everything has energy. Listen, this is important. Ding, ding, ding. Listen to this point. Absolutely everything has energy. And I used to think a week ago that, well, yeah, because everything's part of the material world and it was once a tree and things have energy and energy is everything and everything is energy. I understand that. But what I didn't really grasp until last week when I heard this podcast was that it's not necessarily because it has energy, it's because we give it energy. Because we vibrate and we go, oh, that means something to me, or oh, that hurts, or oh, that brings up grief for me. All that is emotions, right? And our emotions have energy. So back to my daughter's altar, it made me realize that what you're keeping in your life is a choice. And if it brings you joy and it means something to you, and if you're walking around with stuff up to your ears that mean things to you, your energy will be divided. So I am saying there's kind of a cap there. You don't want to get to the addiction level where everything matters. I'm not saying that, but I will tell you, I will take a picture when I finish resetting my daughter's altar, and I assure you, my divorce papers and the things that maybe the grief pin that have a little heavier energy don't belong in that cabinet where I'm all about love and joy and for the gift of my daughter. So hopefully I've made a couple good points and put you at ease. If you need any help as we ascend and as we get into our new reality and we vibrate at this higher pace, it's not just me I'm offering. I have so many people in my circle that I have been working with that are on my channel, okay, that are all connected to these different modalities that can assist you. And so if you reach out to me and you say, Jeannie, I got it, but boy, the letting go, forgive me, can't go there. Maybe it's not me that can help you, but maybe I can refer you to somebody who can. And that's what I wanted to share today. And I think I'll end. I know I keep saying I'll end. I could talk all day about this subject because all this stuff is just showing up so intensely in my life right now. In all this decluttering and all this letting go and all this new reality, a very important person in my life, the relationship broke off and it literally is at its end. And I reached out to my human design practitioner and said, help me. This very uncomfortable situation happened yesterday. And can you help me? And this is kind of, again, back to this video. And she helped me peel out and look at my design, kind of how I'm here and everything, and said, Jeannie, this is all part of the work that you've been doing. So, yes, even friendships and close relationships that you thought would never end will break away and peel away, and you will wake up in a brand new experience. And once I was able to really see that it was a perfect match for my new intentions, and that all the work I've been doing was just showing me a result of that work, I ended, and I will start this video and I will end it. The only thing out of my mouth should be, thank you. Thank you for watching. Hey, this is Jeannie, Casual Conversation. I love and light you. I appreciate you. And please know I'm here to love and support you. See you next video. Bye now.